The screen flickers to life, and the sound of scissors snipping through thick, dark hair fills the silence. A young woman's muffled sobs echo as her sister's hands press her shoulders down, pinning her to the cold kitchen floor. Strands of her hair fall like autumn leaves, scattering across the tiles. "You'll thank us later, Lila," one of them sneers, her voice sharp with conviction. The camera pans to Lila's tear-streaked face, her eyes wide with betrayal, her lips trembling as she whispers, "Why are you doing this?" The scene freezes, and the words her sisters held her down while they cut her hair flash across the screen, daring you to keep watching. Lila had always been the quiet one, the youngest of 4 sisters in a small, weathered house on the edge of a sleepy town. Her hair, long and glossy, was her pride, a cascade of chestnut waves that reached her waist. It was more than just hair, it was her shield, her comfort, a piece of her identity in a family that demanded conformity. Her sisters, Clara, Mara, and Tessa, were louder, bolder, their voices a constant hum of judgment. They wore their hair short, practical, in line with the family's unspoken rule: nothing should make you stand out too much. Lila's refusal to cut her hair was a rebellion, small but stubborn, and it grated on her sisters' nerves. Their mother had passed years ago, leaving the sisters to raise themselves under their father's distant gaze. He was a man of few words, his presence a shadow rather than a guiding light. Clara, the eldest, took charge, her rules rigid and unforgiving. "We're a unit," she'd say, her eyes narrowing at Lila's flowing locks. "You don't get to be different." Mara and Tessa followed Clara's lead, their loyalty to her fierce, their resentment of Lila's quiet defiance growing with every passing year. Lila, at 19, was the odd one out, her dreams of leaving the town for art school a secret she guarded closely. Her sisters mocked her sketches, her late-night doodles of vibrant landscapes and free-spirited women. "You're not going anywhere," Mara would say, tossing Lila's sketchbook aside. "You're one of us." The tension simmered for years, but it boiled over one humid summer evening. Lila had been accepted into an art program in the city, a scholarship that promised escape. She hadn't told anyone, but her sisters found the acceptance letter hidden in her drawer. The betrayal they felt was visceral. How dare she plan to leave them? How dare she dream of something more? That night, they cornered her in the kitchen. Clara held the scissors, her face a mask of cold determination. "You think you're better than us?" she hissed. Mara and Tessa grabbed Lila's arms, forcing her to the floor. "This is for your own good," Tessa said, but her voice wavered, betraying a flicker of guilt. Lila struggled, her pleas ignored as the scissors sliced through her hair. Each cut felt like a theft, stripping away her identity, her courage, her hope. By the time they were done, her hair was a jagged mess, barely brushing her shoulders. They left her there, sobbing, surrounded by the remnants of her pride. Lila didn't speak to her sisters for days. She avoided mirrors, her reflection a stranger. The scholarship deadline loomed, but the weight of her sister's betrayal made her question everything. Was she foolish to think she could leave? Was she wrong to want more? The town felt smaller than ever, its dusty streets and familiar faces closing in around her. She stopped sketching, her pencils untouched, her dreams buried under shame and doubt. Her sisters, meanwhile, acted as if nothing had happened. Clara cooked dinner, Mara hummed while doing chores, and Tessa avoided Lila's gaze. Their father, as always, said nothing, his silence a tacit approval of their actions, but there was someone who noticed Lila's pain: Eli, the boy who worked at the town's only bookstore. He was 22, quiet like Lila, with kind eyes and a habit of leaving poetry books on the counter for her to find. They'd never spoken much, just shy smiles and small talk about books, but Eli saw the change in her. The way her shoulders slumped, the way her eyes dulled. One evening, as Lila lingered in the bookstore, pretending to browse, Eli approached her. "You okay?" he asked, his voice gentle. Lila shook her head, tears welling up. She told him everything: the letter, the scissors, the betrayal. Eli listened, his jaw tightening with every word. "You don't deserve that," he said finally. "You're not what they say you are." Eli's words were a lifeline, but Lila wasn't ready to grasp it. She felt broken, her confidence shattered. The scholarship deadline was 2 days away, and she hadn't even packed. Her sister's voices echoed in her mind: "You're not going anywhere." But Eli didn't give up. He started leaving notes in the books she borrowed, simple messages like, "You're stronger than you know," or "Your art is your voice." One night, he showed up at her house, long after her sisters had gone to bed. Lila was sitting on the porch, barefoot, staring at the stars. "You're going to that school," Eli said, his voice firm but kind. "You're not staying here to shrink." Lila's resolve wavered. The fear of leaving, of facing the unknown, was paralyzing. But Eli's belief in her was a spark, igniting something she thought she'd lost. The next morning, she packed a small bag, her sketchbook tucked inside. Her sisters were at work, the house empty except for their father, who watched her leave without a word. Lila walked to the bus station, her heart pounding, her cropped hair a reminder of what she'd endured. She was almost there when she heard footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw Eli, slightly out of breath, his eyes bright with determination. "I'm not letting you do this alone," he said. The bus station was quiet, the early morning light casting long shadows. Lila's hands trembled as she bought her ticket, the weight of her decision settling in. She was leaving everything she'd ever known, her sisters, her home, the town that had both cradled and confined her. Eli stood beside her, his presence steadying her. When the bus pulled up, Lila hesitated, her feet rooted to the ground. "What if I fail?" she whispered. Eli took her hand, his grip warm and sure. "Then you try again," he said. "But you're not failing today." As the bus doors opened, Lila took a step forward, then another. Her sisters' voices faded, replaced by the quiet strength of her own. Eli carried her bag, and when her strength faltered, he lifted her into his arms, carrying her barefoot onto the bus. The other passengers stared, but Lila didn't care. For the first time, she felt free. The screen fades to black, and the words "he came late but carried her out barefoot in his arms" appear. The story doesn't end there. Lila arrives in the city, her art school a vibrant chaos of color and possibility. She struggles, doubts creep in, her skills feel inadequate, but she keeps going. Her hair grows back, longer and stronger, a symbol of her resilience. She sends her sisters a letter, not out of anger, but forgiveness, releasing them and herself from the past. Eli visits her, their bond deepening, rooted in mutual respect and quiet courage. The final scene shows Lila at her first art exhibition, her paintings bold and unapologetic, each stroke a testament to her journey. The camera lingers on her face, confident, radiant, her hair cascading down her back. The screen cuts to the audience, their eyes misty, their applause soft but heartfelt. A message appears: your strength is in your story. Keep going.